Hi guys, welcome to this session. Greetings from Mercy Technologies. As part of this session, we will see about constructors. What is meant by constructor and why we need constructors in Java and when constructor is called and what are the rules while we are creating constructors, and we will see some more points about constructors. Finally, we will see types of constructors. Okay. So what is our plan is this is what our overall plan. Okay. So let's go one by one. Why we need constructors? We know that whenever we are creating objects, all the instance variables also initialized with the default values, right? So instance variables are part of object. It is part of instance. So constructors, it is used to initialize instance variables. Correct? Constructors are used to initialize instance variables, that is non-static variables. If we say in other words, constructors are used to initialize object, right? And the main purpose of the constructor is to initialize the newly created object before it is used. Consider we are creating an object, one employee object, right? So by using constructor, what we can do? We can initialize the object. Once object is created, then we could able to use it. Suppose if you are having an employee object, right? Employee class, what will be having? Employee ID, name and company. After creating the object, we should have the complete data, right? For initializing all those things, instance variables, we need constructors. So when constructor is called, constructor is called when an object is instantiated, correct? Whenever we are creating an object using new keyword, that time what happens? Constructor is called. Okay, let's go ahead with our one class. This is our employee class, right? This is our employee class, correct? What we are having? We are having employee ID. This all these are instance variables: employee ID, employee name, and company. Okay, consider we will go with only one attribute for now. What is meant by constructor? Constructor means the first rule is it should have same name as the class name. Constructor, the first rule is, okay, constructor should have same name as the class name, right? So what is the class name here? Class name is employee. So this is the constructor. Okay. Constructor should not have any return type. Constructor should not have any return type. This is also one of the important point. Constructor should not have any return type. Should not have any return type. We should not return any data type, not even void. Okay, even not even void. But constructor should can have access modifier like public or private. That is possible. Public, private, default, protected, that is possible. But constructor should not have a return type. That's all. And it should not have static or static keyword also. It should not have because it belongs to instance. Correct. This is called constructor. So what I'm going to do is say I'm going to say this is constructor, right? So I will say this is employee constructor. Constructor, correct? Now what I do, this is the one variable. Now what I do, consider in the client program, what I do is I am having one main method, correct? This is the main method we are having. What we are doing here is, you guys know that we will create object by using new keyword. By using new keyword we can create the object. So what we are doing, employee, right? E1 equal to new employee of, right? This is how we can create the object. Now what happens when we are creating the object, right? See, internally it is a constructor, right? Employee of, you can observe, right? Employee of, what happens when we are creating the object, when we are executing this line, what happens? It calls the constructor. Here we did not pass any argument, right? We did not pass any argument. It calls the constructor, correct? Flow is going inside constructor. Constructor will be executed. What is this? This is called constructor. Why we are calling it as constructor? Constructor is having same name as the class name. First point. Second point, constructor is not having return type. Correct? That's why we are calling it as a constructor. Now, let me put debug point here. Breakpoint you can keep it here. Correct? Bubble. Then come back here. Here also you can put the debug point. Now let's run it in debug mode. Okay. Let's run it in debug mode. Now what happens? It starts executing client 1, right? It starts executing client 1, right? So flow started with client 1. So now what we are doing, we can execute step by step, correct? We can execute step by step. So you can press F6. See, main method starts. Main method started. Let me press F5. See, constructor started executing, right? Constructor started executing. We are getting employee constructor. Now after executing complete constructor, coming back and print remaining statements. What we are trying to understand? When constructor is executed, whenever we are creating the object using new keyword, whenever we are creating the object, we can go through the slide again. When constructor is called, constructor is called when an object is instantiated or when an object is created. In other words, when we are using new keyword, that time only constructor is called. Here, this is called object creation. So, when we are creating the object, corresponding constructor is called. Correct? So, this is the very basic program how we can execute the constructor. Correct? What is meant by constructor? Constructor, it is mainly used to initialize. Constructor, it is mainly used to initialize instance variables, right? Now let's go to next program. Okay, what is the main purpose? This is the instance variable, right? This is the instance variable, or I can say this is non-static variable. Correct? Employee is having id as one of the instance variable. Now what I do is I'm going to modify this program. So what we are going to do, this is a default constructor, right? Default constructor or no argument constructor. I can say this is a no arg constructor, correct? No argument constructor. So when it is called, when we are using, I should use available constructor. This is also one important point. Whenever we are creating the object, we should use available constructor. Whenever we are creating the object, we should use the available constructor. We should use the available constructor. When we are creating the object, I am creating the employee object here. So what is the available constructor? Here, no argument constructor. The constructor is not taking any argument. Same constructor, I am using it when we are creating the object. Now what I am going to do, I am going to have one more constructor. Okay, I am going to have one more constructor. Let's go with one more constructor, right? So this is the one more constructor, employee, right? So I want to initialize instance variable. What is the main purpose of constructor? Go back. Constructor constructors are used to initialize instance variables, correct? It is used to initialize the newly created object. So it has only one instance variable, right? What I'm going to do, I am going to initialize that instance variable. Okay, now if you see, this is single argumented constructor because this constructor is taking one argument, right? One argument. This is single argumented constructor. How I can initialize means, you can initialize this dot id equal to id, this dot id equal to id. We can go with this dot id equal to id, right? Now you no need to worry about what is mean by this we will cover later. Okay, in the future session we will see about what is mean by this, correct? We are having separate 1 or 2 sessions for explaining this keyword. For now you can understand, this is how I can initialize instance variable. This is how use I can initialize instance variable through constructor, correct? Now what we are doing here is, let me create one more object. Okay, I make little simple. Let me comment out this line. Okay, I am going to create one more constructor. If I comment out, compiler will not correct. When compiling it will leave it, and also runtime environment also it will not take care. I am creating one more constructor, employee e2. What I am going to do, consider I am commenting out the first constructor also. First constructor also I am commenting out. Now how many constructor employee class has? Employee class has only one constructor, that is single argumented constructor, right? Employee has only one constructor, that is single argumented constructor. What I am doing here, when I am creating object, I am trying to create object using new keyword. I cannot use simply employee of, it will give compile time error, right? Because I should use available constructor. What is the point we are seeing here? Whenever we are creating the object, we should use the available constructor, correct? No argument constructor is not available because we commented out. Now inside employee class only one constructor is available. What is that constructor? It is a single argumented constructor, right? So we can use it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to create one object id as 100. Now listen, what is the main purpose of constructor? When I'm creating the object, what happened? Let me run this program again. So this is single argumented constructor, right? This is single argumented constructor. Okay, you can put the breakpoint here. Okay, let's run it again. And also I want to print, you guys already know how to print instance variable, right? How to I can print e2 dot id, e2 dot id, I can print it. Let's run it in compile time mode. What happens? We are trying to run it in compile time mode. Main method starts. First we are creating one object, only one object we are creating here by using single argumented constructor. See, the flow is going inside single argumented constructor. What is the id we passed? We passed 100 here, right? We passed 100 here. Same 100, it is initialized to instance variable. This dot id is nothing but instance variable, right? This dot id is nothing but instance variable. What about this id? This is a local variable, whatever you are passing. Okay, so local variable you are assigning to instance variable. See, we have executed employee of single argument constructor. Local variable id is assigned to instance variable. See here, before assigning instance variable value is 0. You guys know that, right? When we are creating the object, by default instance variable will be loaded with default values. For integer, for int data type, default value is 0. So we are assigning 100 to instance variable. After executing this line, what happened? Assignment is completed, correct? Now you see instance variable value id also became 100, correct? After executing the constructor, again flow is coming back to our main method. Now we are printing e2.id. What is e2.id here? What is e2.id here? e2.id will be 100, correct? e2.id will be 100. Let's run it. We are seeing e2.id is 100, right? And main method also completed. Main method also completed. So this is our heap memory, right? What we are doing? Who is pointing? E2 is pointing, right? E2 is pointing. What is the thing we are having inside employee class? We are having only one instance variable. What is that variable? It is assigned with 100. How it is assigned? Through constructor initialization, right? Through constructor, what we have done? We have initialized the instance variable. We have initialized the instance variable through no or constructor. Sorry, through single argumented constructor, correct? So this is the main purpose here. Like constructor, single argument constructor, it is used to initialize, it is used to initialize instance variable of id. It is used to initialize instance variable of id. Okay, it is used to initialize instance variable of id. Basically constructors are used to initialize instance variables. Employee class is having only one instance variable, right? Same instance variable we are trying to initialize using constructor, correct? Now I am going to make little more complex. Okay, what we can do, we can comment out this constructor also. I am going to create one more constructor. Listen guys, I am going to create one more constructor. Okay, let me comment out this line also, right? What we are going to do is we are going to create one more constructor, right? What is the constructor we are going to create? I am going to have three attributes. Now I am going to have three attributes. Okay, I am going to have three attributes. One is like id, right? Another one is name, another one is company, right? I want to initialize all these three instance variables through constructor. How I can go for it? I can create one more constructor, right? Employee of, right? One more constructor. What I can do, I can have three instance variable I can initialize, right? How I can initialize? id comma name comma then company, correct? Now what we are going to do, how we can initialize? Using this keyword, using this keyword, this dot id. This dot id means it is instance variable, right? This is used to represent instance. This is used to represent instance, right? This means here it is representing, this means here it is representing instance, right? It means it is an object, right? This keyword it is used to represent instance. What we are going to do, this dot id, whatever we are passing, right? When we are creating object here, consider I am going to create an object. What is the object I am going to create? I am going to create an object as employee. We need to use available constructor. Employee e3 equal to employee e3 equal to new employee of, what is the available constructor? Compiler will give compile time error because no argument constructor is not available here. Only one constructor which is taking three arguments. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use that same object. So 100, employee id is 100, name as Mercy, and company as Google, right? This is the available constructor, right? See, this is the available constructor, correct? So what we can do is just go here, right? See here, there is no compile time error here, right? We are using available constructor. First I am initializing id, then now I can initialize name. I can initialize name equal to this dot name. This is used to represent here. It is used to represent instance variable, right? I am assigning this dot name equal to name and this dot company equal to company. Whatever we are passing, that will be used. So for understanding purpose, I am keeping this println statement. Okay, I am keeping this println statement. Okay, this is three argumented constructor. Put the breakpoint here. Now, if you want, what you can do, you can print all the attributes. Correct? You can print all the attributes. Right? I can print e3.id, e3.name, and e3.company. Correct? Let's run it in debug mode. So what happens? We are creating one object. How we are creating the object? By using available constructor here. Main method started. We are creating, when we are creating, what we are passing? ID, name and company, right? ID, name and company. Whatever ID we are passing, that is captured using this ID. Even you can give different name also for this local variable. Why I am calling this ID, name and company is local variable? Because it is declared in constructor, right? But this ID, this name, this company is our instance variable. These all three are belongs to instance variable, but these three variables we are calling it as local variable. Whatever value we are passing, that we are assigning. See, constructor started executing. We are getting the println statement. As values also started assigning, right? After executing, what we are doing? Here we are copying everything. ID equal to 100, name equal to Mercy, correct? And company equal to Google, right? Same we are getting it, correct? So now we initialized when we are true constructor. Now what we are doing? We are printing it e3.id. What is the value? This is pointed by e3 reference. How I can access the object? Through e3, right? Through e3 I can access the object. e3.id is 100, e3.name Mercy, e3.company. Let's run it. e3.id, we are getting it right. It's very easy. So mainly constructors are used to initialize instance variables, right? Constructors are used to initialize instance variable. Here we are having three variables: id, name and company. All we are trying to initialize using constructor, right? Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one more object, right? One more object I am going to create. Okay, so how I can create? Again, use available constructor. Employee e4. E4 is a reference variable. New employee of, right? Available constructor Eclipse only gives the way. So I am giving 200. Name as Angel. Correct? And the company we are giving as IBM. Correct? This is the second instance values, right? So let's listen very carefully. How many times constructors are executed? Listen very carefully. This is quite important point. Okay, let's rerun the program again. Okay, what I'm going to do, again I'm going to print e4 attributes also. Okay, again I'm going to print if e4 attributes also. I am printing some dotted lines here. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to run it in debug mode. We have created two objects here. So our main method started, right? Our main method started. If we press F6, first object we are creating, right? So when we are creating first object, whatever values we are passing, 100, Mercy and Google, all are assigned with First time constructor is executed when I am creating the first object. Again going back. Again we are creating one more object. When I am creating one more object, again what happened? Again constructor is getting executed. Correct? Because second instance should be initialized. Whatever values we are passing as part of second instance, same it is getting initialized. Right? So we are printing first object and also we are printing the second object reference. So when constructor is getting executed, not only one time. Whenever we are creating new object, see, whenever we are creating new object, that time constructor is getting executed. For each new object, correct, constructor is getting executed. Constructor is getting executed. Available constructor is getting executed. Correct. Available constructor is getting executed. Here we created two objects. Same we are printing it. Correct. Same we are printing it. Let's run it again. First time we are creating object. First time what happened? One time constructor is getting executed. For first instance, all the instance variables are initialized. Second time when I am creating again one more object, available constructor. Correct. Again second object also is getting initialized. After that what I am doing? Here we are printing first object values e3.id, e3.name and e3.company, right? After that I am printing some dotted lines. Again we are printing e4.id, right? E4 who is pointing? Second object. What is the ID, name and company? These are the values, right? ID is 200, name is Angel, company is IBM, right? So this is how constructor plays vital role when we are creating the object. I don't want to keep like this. Again, if you want to create one more object, again we need to print all the three attributes, right? Suppose consider we are creating one more object, E5, right? What we are going to do? We are going with ID as 300, correct? Name as John and company as Microsoft, right? Now I don't want to keep the code again and again. We already know that. If we want to do repeated task, we can move it into method. This is what I can do. I can create one method. Okay. What I can do, I can create one method, public, let it be instance method. Okay. Public void print. Okay. This is my print method. Okay. What I can do is I can print all the things. Either I can print directly or in single statement also I can print. What I can say this is the ID, right? So, and I can say this is the name and third one is the company, right? Company, right? So what I can do, I can remove all these println statements. All the println statements I can remove, right? Simply what I can do, you know that in print is a instance method, right? There is no static keyword here. It is a instance method. It is a instance method. What we are doing, how we can call when we are executed all these three lines, three objects are created in the heap memory. All are initialized with these values. What we are doing, I am calling e3 dot print method. Correct? E3 dot print method. Right? So what happens if I call e3 dot print method? It will call print method, right? Inside print method, what we are having? We are printing all the details, right? Consider this is our print method. Okay, this is our print method. Okay, let's run this. I am calling print method for all the references. right? Let's in debug mode. This is very important. Okay, so let's run it in debug mode. When we are running, what we are doing, so you can press F6 line by line. If you want to execute, F6. First time we are created one object, what happened? Constructor started executing, right? First constructor, then second time we are creating one more object, right? Second time also constructor is executed. Third time also constructor is executed. Now we are calling print method. You can put the breakpoints here inside print method, correct? So what we are doing here, we are calling print method. When we are calling print method, on which object reference we called print method? On which object reference we called print method? We called using E3 reference, right? We called on E3 reference, right? So how we called? We called on E3 reference, right? So it will be going inside. Now we are printing ID inside print method. We are printing ID, name and company, right? Because we called using E3. So what is the ID here? ID is 100, name is Mercy, company is Google. See, same we are getting here, right? Now, second time again you are calling print method. On which object reference you are called? Using E4. Using E4 we called, right? So, using E4, one object is pointed here, right? Second object is there. What is doing? He is pointing E4 reference. What is the value here? We assigned with 200, name as Angel, correct? And company as IBM, correct? This is what we have given. If I call E4 reference print method, how we are calling E4 reference? So method is calling using E4. Inside this E4 pointing object, what we are doing? We are printing ID, name and company, right? ID, name and company. What is the output here? ID is 200, name is Angel, company is IBM. Again what you can do? Again you can call E5 also. E5 is pointing three values, right? Again we are passing this. I trust it is very clear. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell one more thing. Okay, note down this point very carefully. You might be having questions. Why we are accessing here using this dot id? I already said this dot id means we can, it represents instance variable, right? Through this keyword we can access instance variables and instance method. This point also we can note it down. Through this keyword, what we can do, the main purpose is we can access instance variables and instance methods, right? Here what we can do, here id is, we are accessing this id is nothing but instance variable, right? Same way here also I can give name this, right? Because what we are trying to access, we are trying to access instance variable, right? Listen, when I click on Eclipse, automatically it is highlighting, right? All the instance variables are getting highlighted. Either you can access directly or you can access using this keyword. I am here, I am going to print this dot id. Anything is fine. Okay, anything is fine here. I can access directly or I can access through this keyword. Okay, so I don't want to print it in three lines, right? I don't want to print it in three lines. If you see our output, we are printing in three lines, correct? What is our output here? All we are printing in three lines. I want to print it in single line. How we can print? It is simple. We can use system.out.println. What you can do, instead of three lines, I can print it in single line also, right? So what we can do here, I can print double quotes. This is my ID. ID, then dynamic value I can give plus ID. Again, I want to print something on the console. Again, plus you put it, then comma, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to print name. Name is a dynamic value again. Again, I'm going to put static value, comma, company, right? Then again, I will give company name here. Anything is fine. Either you can directly use company or you can directly use this dot company. All are same, right? How we can represent instance variable? Through this keyword. Through this keyword. Correct? Okay. Through this keyword, we can access instance variable. Now I remove everything. In single line only we are printing everything. Let's run this program. I don't want to run it in debug mode. Directly let me run it. You can observe the output. You can observe the output. When we are running, 3 instance variables are created. Finally, what we are doing? 3 times constructors are executed, right? And we are printing all the ID, name, and company. For all 3 instance, for all 3 objects, we are printing the value. Correct? This is how we can play around with constructors. So the main point is constructors are used to initialize instance variables. Let's go back to our slide. Why we need constructors? Constructors are used to initialize instance variables. Constructors are used to initialize instance variables. By using constructor, in other words, it is used to initialize object state, right? It is used to initialize object state, right? So we can initialize objects through constructors, right? The main purpose of a constructor is to initialize newly created object before it is used. Correct? Here employee object is newly created. Before we are using, what we can do? We can initialize the object, right? Through constructors. Now, when constructor is called? Constructor is called when we are instantiating the object. When we are instantiating the object. In other words, when we are creating the object using new keyword, right? Now, rules for creating the constructor. Let's go ahead now. Let's go ahead now. What are the basic rules we need for creating the constructors? Correct? What are the basic things we need? Basic rules when we are creating the objects, right? First thing, constructor name should be same name as the class name, right? We have seen, right? Here we have defined different constructors. Let me uncomment all the constructors. I'm going to uncomment all the constructors, right? So these are the available constructors, right? These are the available constructors, right? Let me move the print method at the last. It is always better to, constructor can be anywhere, but it is always better to represent at the top next to instance variable. It is always better to keep the constructor. Now what we are doing here, we are having 3 types of constructors. So what is the main point? Constructor name should be same name as the class name. Constructor name should be same name as the class name, right? See here, that is the first thing. Second rule is constructor should not have any return type, even not even void. Constructor should not have any return type. Here constructor is not having any return type. What about method? Method should have return type. If it is void, no need to return anything. If your method is returning integer type, you should mention with int type, right? But constructor should not have any return type. Correct? And one more point, constructor cannot be abstract or static or final or synchronized. This point we will see later. Okay, when we are covering inheritance, abstract and final and synchronized, that time we will see. But for now we can remember that Constructor should not use any of this keyword. Constructor should not use any of this keyword. Constructor cannot be static or abstract or final or synchronized. These are the very important rules we need to follow when we are creating the constructor. Correct? So some more points we will see. Some more points. What are the some more points? Constructor can be declared anywhere inside class. Either you can, but it should be inside a class, correct? But it should be inside a class. See here, what you can do, you can copy and paste anywhere. Let me move this constructor below to print statement. Anywhere you can create the constructor. There is no issues. But the good way of programming is constructor should be always at the top. After the instance variable declaration, it is always better to be at the top level. Correct? This is the industry standard. Okay, because consider you are developing a Java application, that particular Java file is having 300 400 lines, right? If you declare all the, consider you are using two constructors or three constructors, if you mention in the very top, for the fellow developer it is very easy. Oh, in the top all three constructor will be there, remaining there can be 10 or 20 methods can be there in the below. If you define at the middle or somewhere, you will get confused, right? So the industry standard is, it is always better to declare at the top, but you can mention anywhere. Then access modifier also we can use. Correct? Access modifier we will see later. That is private, public, protected or default, right? Either you can use access modifier also like this, public employee, right? But we cannot use any return type. That is the main thing, but we can use access modifier. Access modifier topic we will see in later tutorials, right? So that is also one of the point. Correct? Access modifier also we can use when we are declaring a constructor. Correct? So we can see that later. Now the last point is one is pending, that is types of constructors. Listen, so there are different types of constructors are available. Different types of constructors are available. One is no or constructor. We have already seen, right? One is no or constructor, right? We always should use available constructor. No or constructor is there or not? No argumented constructor. This constructor is not taking any argument. This is called no argument constructor. What is meant by parameterized constructor? Parameterized constructor means either it can take single argumented or more than one argument. Here if you see, one constructor is taking only one argument. Another constructor is taking more than one arguments. These two constructors are called as parameterized constructor or argumented constructor, right? We have seen both, correct? We have seen both. Overall, the employee class is having three constructors. One is a no argument constructor. Second one is argumented constructors or parameterized constructors. Two parameter two parameterized constructors. One is taking single argument. Second constructor is taking a three arguments. Even you can define two argument constructor also. Nothing is wrong. Correct? Suppose consider you are creating an object, that time you don't know what is the company of the employee, you know only id and name, correct? You don't know the company. Then what we can do, you can create two arguments. Now before going to next topic, I want to experiment some more things. Listen carefully, I am creating one more object. In the fourth object, I don't know the company of the employee, right? I know only name and id. I don't know the company. I don't have the company details. Then what I can do, I can pass null here. Correct? I can pass null. I cannot use two argumented constructor because we did not define any two argument constructor here. See, only three constructors are there. One is no argument constructor, second one is single argumented constructor, third one is 3-argumented constructor, right? I should use only available constructor. That point we have seen, right? When we are creating an object, we should use available constructor. 2-argumented constructor is not available because we did not declare any 2-argumented constructor. What we are doing here, so but I have only 2 values, I don't know the third value, right? So simply pass null here. Even we can pass null also. Now it is 3-argumented constructor, right? You are passing id, name, and company, you are passing null. So what output you will be getting? Let's run this program. Last object also we can call print method, right? Last object also you can call print method, e6 dot print, correct? Finally, what is the last one you should get? You should get, so let's change the id. Okay, id and name, let's change it. 400. Name I can give Mark, correct? Mark is the employee. We don't know about his company details. Let's run it. See here, in the last output, what we are getting? ID is 400, name is Mark, but company we don't know, right? Right? If you don't know any value, you can pass anything. Suppose ID also you can pass null. It is up to us. Okay, simply we are experimenting. If you don't know anything, you can pass null. Later point of time, we can initialize, correct? Later point of time, we can initialize. So id we cannot pass null because null is a derived data type, right? Id here is int type, so either you can pass 0 or you can pass nothing, right? So let's pass name with null, right? Name is a derived data type, name is a string type, right? What we are doing, name we are passing, you want to pass null, right? If you don't know the value, you can pass the null. Let's rerun this program. So we are getting, right? ID is 400, name is null, company is null. This is also possible. Now again we are going back to our slide. We have seen two things. No argument constructor, how to use it is simple, we already seen. We can create, even I can create one more object like this, right? Possible or not? Even I can create one more object, e7, right? E7 I can create no argument constructor, right? If you want, you can print e7 here. Finally, what I can do, I can print e7 dot print. E7 no argument constructor, right? Because in e7 we did not do anything. We are just printing one statement, right? So all the attributes will be null, default values, right? ID, name, and company all will be default values. ID is 0, name is null, company is null, correct? Now we are saying how to use parameterized constructor also. All these are parameterized constructor. Suppose consider I am using one more variable here, right? One more I am using e8, right? E8, what I am doing, I am using single argumented constructor 500 I am using, right? This is also possible. Available constructor we are using it, right? Single argumented constructor, only id we are initializing. If you want to print e8 dot print method also. Let's run it. See here, finally in 800, correct, we are initialized with only one value, right? Listen, e8 what we are doing, we are initialized with only 500. What about name and company? Name and company will be null, correct? So because inside single argumented constructor we are initializing only 500, right? So far we have seen everything. So what we are going to do is we are going to experiment one of the very important point. We didn't see default constructor. Now we are going to experiment default constructor. Let me remove all the constructors. I am going to remove all the constructors. You will be having one doubt. Okay, let me remove this constructors. I'm removing this constructor also. Now only one constructor is there, no argument constructor. Here we are getting all the compile time error because we are not using available constructor. I am removing everything, right? I am removing everything. What we are doing is, here we are going to create one object. What is that object? That object is employee E1 equal to new employee of. We are going to use default. We are going to use no argument constructor. That is available or not? Now let's run it. What output you will be getting? You will be getting this output, correct? Constructor is getting executed when we are calling employee of constructor, right? And even we are printing some statement also. Even I don't want this also. Let me remove print statement also. Only when I'm creating first object, correct? Employee of constructor is getting executed. This is straightforward. Now listen carefully. What I am doing, I am removing this constructor also. I am removing this constructor also. Correct. Now employee class is not having anything. Employee class is having only instance variables, right? Only instance variables. Let's see now. But you will be wondering, let me run this program again. Even though we are not keeping that default constructor, correct? Let's run this program again. See, we are getting output, right? Are we getting the output? There is no compile time error, but what point we have seen? Whenever we are creating the object, we should use available constructor. We should use available constructor. But inside employee class, we did not keep any constructor. You will be having question. Here no constructors are available. How we are creating using no arg constructor, right? So the rule is, if we don't define any constructors, if we don't declare any constructor, if we don't declare any constructors, if we don't declare any constructor, what happens? Compiler will generate no arg constructor. Compiler will create, I can say, default constructor. Okay, what it means? It means, okay, note down this point little carefully. When here we don't keep any constructor, the first rule it will check, is there a constructor inside employee class? Is there a constructor? Consider you are having one constructor. Okay, don't worry, leave that. If we don't have any constructor, what happens? This is the .java file, right? When we are compiling, how we are compiling a Java file? Inside .java file, there is no constructor. That's okay. Inside .java file, there is no constructor. Correct? This is our .java file. If there is no constructor inside .java file, if we don't declare any constructor in .java file, correct? This is our .java file. What happens? Compiler, when you are compiling Java C file name class name .java, we are compiling Java C class name .java, right? This is how we are compiling the class. When we are compiling, compiler will generate default constructor in .class file. In .class file, you are getting or not? Compiler will generate default constructor. So default constructor, who is generating? Compiler. Okay, consider this is not our bytecode. Consider this is our bytecode. Okay, simply I am telling this is our bytecode. When we are compiling, compiler what will do, right? It will create one constructor like this, employee of. We are not creating. It will check, is there a constructor available inside employee class? No. Who is generating this constructor? Compiler, right? This is default. This is default constructor, right? Which is generated by compiler, right? Which is generated by compiler. This is happening when we are compiling a Java program. While you are running, what happens? JVM comes into picture, right? when you are running JVM comes into picture. What happens? JVM takes the dot class file, right? Inside dot class file, default constructor is there or not? Inside dot class file. How it came? You did not keep, but who created? That is the point we have seen. If we don't declare any constructor inside, not even single constructor, not even single constructor. So if you don't declare any constructor, by default, compiler will generate default constructor. The default constructor signature will be like this. It will not have anything, right? So compiler will generate in dot class file. So when you are running JVM takes that dot class file and it will run. When we are running, it will check, okay, yeah, is there any default constructor? Yes, compiler is generated. Here we are using available constructor. Here we are using available constructors, right? So what is the available constructor? The default constructor, which is from compiler. That's why when we are running this, compilation is success and running also success. Now listen carefully. I am creating one more constructor. Okay, that is the first point. I am creating one single argumented constructor. Listen, I am not doing anything here. When I am creating single argumented constructor, will compiler will generate a default constructor? That is the question. What is our rule? The rule is simple. If we don't declare any constructor, no, we already declared one constructor. Even if you declare single constructor also, compiler will not come into picture. Okay, we are getting right. The point is getting more clear. If we declare any single constructor also, compiler will not generate any constructor. If we declare a single constructor also, if we declare a single constructor also inside .java file, correct, compiler will not create default constructor, correct. If it is not there, then it will create. Now here compile time error. Why compile time error? Because this constructor is not available, correct. Only one constructor is available. You declared one single argumented constructor, correct. Suppose if you remove, compiler is generating default constructor, that time compilation will be success, right. So all these are interview questions, right. So they will be giving one program like this, one of the program like this, whether compilation is success or you will be getting output or something. Okay, this is very important. Okay, if you don't keep, then it will create issues. Now let me remove. Now what I'm going to do, this is called default constructor. We are going to experiment some more. So available constructor, this constructor is available because compiler is generated, right. Now what we are going to do, I'm going to pass here some value. Is this possible? It will throw compile time error. What is the compile time error? This constructor is undefined. Employee constructor is undefined. Why? This constructor is not available. Only one constructor is available. Who has created? Compiler, right? Which constructor? Default constructor. Default constructor means no argument constructor, right? So this also compile time error. What is the rule? Whenever we are creating the object, we should use available constructor. Point number 3. Single argumented constructor is not available. Correct? Single argument constructor you are trying to use. Single argument constructor is not available. So we cannot use it. That's why we are getting compile time error. We cannot use anything, right? We cannot use anything. Suppose consider I'm using Mary. This also not possible. We should use the available constructor. That is the main point we are seeing. So we covered all the types of constructor. Let's go back. So what other things we have seen? We have seen like high level overview. Then after that, what we have seen? We have seen like Why we need constructors? To initialize instance variables, to initialize objects. And when constructor is called? Constructor is called when we are creating the object, right? And what are the rules? Constructor name should be same name as the class name. Constructor should not have any return type, and it should not have any all this like abstract, static, final, and synchronized. Go back. Some more point is constructor can be declared anywhere inside the class, but the good way is to declare it in the top next to instance variables. Then types of constructor we have seen is no or constructors, then parameterized constructor, then default constructor. Default constructor will be created by compiler if we don't keep any constructor inside .java file. Correct? Thanks everyone.